The Hebrew Bible contains many interesting and supernatural creatures, one of the most mysterious of these being the Nephilim, first introduced in Genesis 6:4. The Nephilim are described as heroes of old, men of renown, but the identity and origin of the Nephilim are still surrounded in mystery to this day. Some call them demons, some call them giants, but to find out who the Nephilim truly were and where they truly came from, I journeyed deep into the scriptures, and what I found out about these people is much more fascinating than I ever expected. You see, the word Nephilim, a Hebrew word meaning the fallen ones, only appears in the Bible 3 times. First in Genesis 6 verse 4, second in the book of Numbers, and third in a secret lesser known passage in Ezekiel. Based on these passages alone, we can't conclude much about the identity or origin of these creatures, but what we do know is this: the Nephilim were a race of giants. In the book of Numbers, the Israelites are on the cusp of entering the promised land, a land flowing with milk and honey, a symbol of abundance and plenty. But there's a problem. There are several Gentile nations occupying the land, enemies of Israel. So Moses elected 12 men and sent them out as spies into the promised land. When exploring, they reached the land of Hebron, where they came across 3 important figures: Ahiman, Shishai, and Talmai, the descendants of Anak. Upon returning home, the spies reported about the men they saw to Moses. Caleb, one of the spies, spoke up and said, "We should go up and take possession of the land, for we can certainly do it." But men who had gone up with him said, "We can't attack these people. They are stronger than we are." And they spread among the Israelites a bad report about the land they had explored. They said, "The land we explored devours those living in it. All the people we saw there are of great size. We saw the Nephilim there. The descendants of Anak come from the Nephilim. We seem like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and we looked the same to them." The descendants of Anak, otherwise known as the Anakim, were a race of people descendant from the original Nephilim. Whenever the Bible refers to the Anakim, they are associated with large stature, great size, or mighty strength. The people are greater and taller than we. The cities are great and fortified up to the sky. And moreover, we have seen the sons of Anakim there. A people great and many and tall as the Anakim. Who can stand before the sons of Anak? These people, along with other races of giants like the Rephites and Emim, dominated the land until Joshua and the Israelites utterly destroyed them with their cities. We can safely say that the Nephilim were a race of giant people, but the mystery only gets deeper and more twisted when we ask the question, where did the Nephilim come from? To answer this, we must return to the first appearance of the Nephilim in Genesis 6, 1-4, when human beings began to increase in number on the earth, and daughters were born to them. The sons of God saw that the daughters of humans were beautiful, and they married any of them they chose. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God went to the daughters of humans and had children by them. They were the heroes of old, men of renown. The most commonly held view of the Nephilim's origin is that they are the offspring of the sons of God and the daughters of humans. But the meaning of these two terms is hotly debated, especially the term sons of God. The phrase sons of God appears in the Hebrew Bible a total of 5 times. The first in Genesis 6, the second, third, and fourth in the book of Job, and the 5th in the book of Daniel. The appearances in the book of Job all seem to have one thing in common. The sons of God here seem to be some kind of angelic being. The Daniel passage uses the phrase a son of God and is mentioned as the 4th person in the fiery furnace with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, alluding to some form of angel, some even believing an early appearance of Christ himself. So it seems like the sons of God referred to in Genesis 6 were angelic beings. But how were angelic, immaterial servants of God marrying and sleeping with human women? Jesus himself says in the Gospel of Matthew, "For in the resurrection they neither marry nor are given in marriage, but are like the angels in heaven." Some people say that Jesus' words refute the theory that the sons of God in Genesis are angels, because angels can't marry. But the key is in the last 2 words of the verse, in heaven, implying that the angels in Genesis were fallen. The idea of fallen angels is supported by 2 very important New Testament Bible passages. For if God did not spare angels when they sinned, but cast them into hell and committed them to chains of gloomy darkness to be kept until the judgment, and the angels who did not stay within their own position of authority, but left their proper dwelling place, he has kept in eternal chains under gloomy darkness until the judgment of the great day, just as Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities around them, since they, in the same way as these angels, indulged in sexual perversion and went after strange flesh, they exhibited as an example in undergoing the punishment of eternal fire. Knowing that some angels did in fact fall from heaven and breed with humans, it makes sense that their offspring would be different, resulting in the monstrous size and might of the Nephilim, and the giants that followed generations later. Though it's the most commonly held view of the Nephilim's origin, there is one problem in the theory. Listen carefully to the phrasing of these words. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God came into the daughters of mankind. Some have taken this passage to say that the Nephilim were already on the earth before the fall of the angels. This would mean that they aren't the offspring of the fallen angels and humans. In fact, some go as far as to say that the author of Genesis, Moses, is specifically mentioning the Nephilim alongside the fallen angels to highlight the separation between the two groups. One theory is that the Nephilim were descendants of Seth, the faithful son of Adam, making them fine warriors and men of renown. Another theory suggests they were simply a genetic mutation which caused extreme growth. Are the Nephilim a race of demonic giants who terrorized nations for centuries, or were they simply large people? I'm not confident to provide the answer, so I want to ask all the biblical scholars, pastors, and teachers online where you think the Nephilim came from. Otherwise, these fascinating people will remain a mystery for the rest of time.